And this is why you brought up supervenience with this example. So you're
Yeah.
thinking of the future as emergent from the past.
Well, I'm thinking, so it kind of goes, so another sort of hobby of mine, I guess, is sort of thinking about some of these fundamental metaphysical problems and like, physics and, quantum gravity and all that sort of thing. My friend and frequent collaborator, whom you know, Susan Schneider, she's a philosopher at Florida Atlantic University, and she and I have sort of come up with this idea that we've fleshed out a little bit called proto-time. And it's this idea where there it's a way to explain certain types of physical phenomena that can't really be explained by our current conception of space-time. For instance, something like quantum entanglement, where it seems to violate what they call the no signaling principle, which is this idea that you can't transmit information or anything in space-time faster than light. Yet with quantum entanglement, it seems like there's some kind of relationship, whether or not it's causal or correlative or whatever, between particles that could be vastly far apart, like one here and one in like the nearest galaxy. And that sort of relationship, that knowledge, that information about those particles, is sort of instantaneously transferred. So how can that be if you can't transmit information faster than light? And so we propose this idea that perhaps underlying space-time itself is this more topological space. So something, a topology doesn't require that you have some sort of a metric. It doesn't require some idea of space. It just requires some notion of connectivity
That's
and
right.
something belonging within the same set and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So if there's some sort of a networked topology where there is no notion of space and no notion of time, from which space-time as we understand it emerges, then naturally all the information about space-time as we understand it would have to be encoded into this fabric, this whatever you would call it, this proto-time layer. Um, and so it kind of opens up this idea of like, the possibility of superdeterminism where, everything that has happened and will happen has already been encoded in some way informationally in this mesh, but it may be completely epistemically unavailable to us as denizens of the emergent space-time.
yeah,
Unless we have some God's eye view where we can look at all things, past, present, and future, we can't necessarily make predictions about the future with any real certainty because we don't have direct epistemic access to it.
unless in fact that's yeah, that assumption is wrong, and we do, which of course I believe to be the case. So
Yeah, I mean,
I
if
love
you
prototype.
Yeah, so like if something like downward causation might hold true, then perhaps the higher, I'll use the term higher level set, but the emergent properties from that, the emergent spacetime may have some causal influence on sort of the baseline prototemporal fabric, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's how it works, baby cakes. I
Yeah.
know.
But it seems
I
to
don't know where baby cakes came from, but I'm very excited. So
I love it.